No one will admit this about the Toronto Raptors because, yes, this team has one of the worst records in the NBA. Yes, they openly admit it to entering a rebuild right now, but with the return of Scottie Barnes tonight, with the massive leaps we've seen from so many guys on this roster, from the effort that this entire Toronto Raptors team plays with under coach Darko Rajaković night in, night out, win or loss, this Toronto Raptors team is sneaky good, and I am standing by this. This has been my opinion, my feel on this squad. I have no idea how the win-loss record is going to finish, by the end of the season, by December, by this month, by tomorrow, right? I don't know if we're going to win a ton of games, lose a ton of games, what the heck is going to go on with this season on that realm. But every time I watch this Toronto Raptors team play this entire year, there's an insane amount of effort. There's always through at least 3/4 of the game being extremely competitive. And again, regardless if we're going after capturing flags this season, or regardless of if we actually make a push and end up making it to the playoffs and doing all this type of stuff, I genuinely believe in the talent. I believe in this group. And nights like this, it's just so sweet to see everything come together and fall fully into form. So we're going to break down what the Toronto Raptors just did in this game to the Minnesota Timberwolves, Scottie Barnes' return, and all the interesting storylines that are going on with this team. But before we dive into that, folks, you guys have been crushing it, hitting the like button as of late. So make sure if you guys are enjoying the daily Toronto Raptors coverage, you're enjoying it. This interesting season for the Toronto Raptors, because even though the wins haven't been piling up left, right, and center, this team has been very, very fun to watch. If you're liking it all, make sure you guys hit the like button on this video because it helps us out a ton as we continue to grow this channel and grow this Raptors community. But let's dive into it because we had the return of Scottie Barnes. This was an intense game, the fresh jerseys, everything coming back, but the Toronto Raptors came out and got a big, big win. 110 to 105 victory over the Minnesota Timberwolves. And basically, it was just, we'll talk about Scottie Barnes first. Because again, minutes restriction a little bit, even though there wasn't a huge minute total for a lot of guys on the roster. But Scottie Barnes, 17 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, in his return game, 5 of 11 from the field, 2 of 5 from the 3-point line, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. He is, wasn't a phenomenal Scottie Barnes game by any stretch of the imagination. He didn't completely take over and just have a crazy impact night one, which no one would expect from him without injury, in and out of the lineup he's been, and then obviously dealing with a weird situation with the face, wearing the goggles, and he did look fresh out there on the court, with the goggles, with the specs. I thought it was a pretty cool look. But again, Scottie Barnes came back, and you see the impact that he has out there on the floor. His size, his frame helps on the defensive end, and he's ability to just, keep the pressure off of other guys. Because, again, especially in the main reasons we've been losing some games is even though RJ, Gradey Dick, these guys have been stepped up, Davion Mitchell have been really good here for stretches, but the focus of the defense is really locked in on those guys. And Scottie Barnes just takes the pressure off of those players to really make things really easy for RJ Barrett. I mean, you can see it here tonight, right? 31 points, 10 of 14 shooting, right? The efficiency is on another level. 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals for RJ, and we'll talk about him after. But Scottie Barnes just is a huge, huge addition for the squad, whether he's, having an outstanding box score night or not, right? His impact can be felt on any given situation. Again, the decision-making, there are some moments where, you might question what's going on with Scottie, but he's a young star, coming into his own, and it's really nice to see him bounce back. And, in a return game looking very, very solid. It looked a little bit rusty there for stretch, especially at the beginning. Got a weird tech there as well, but I don't know. I was very impressed with the return for Scottie Barnes in this game. It was a really nice one to see. But obviously, the guy that's really been the story for this Toronto Raptors team this season has been RJ Barrett. And I broke down his kind of stats, allude to it, but 31 points for RJ Barrett, 10 of 14 shooting, 7 rebounds. Broke down his stats just then, but my goodness. RJ Barrett, the comfortability he plays with, the just poise, the calmness he has driving the lane, driving the basket, and didn't even hit a ton of threes tonight, but it was just getting to the rim at will, getting his shots up. Just really anytime the Toronto Raptors need to go on a little mini run, have a little mini opportunities, RJ Barrett came out and just seriously had an impact for the squad every time down the floor. And I've said this a trillion times on the podcast. I used to say pretty well every video with guys like definitely Kawhi Leonard, but even Kyle Lowry, for stretches over the course of his Raptors career, they were so good at getting timely buckets. And that was the reason, because there's levels of star players, right? And I think Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet were awesome, very much, capable top options out there on a team. There's different players out there on your squad and things like that, but the real guys that lead to winning situations, winning plays, winning moments, and it's those stars that when you desperately need a bucket, they can just get you an easy one, or whether it's them scoring or facilitating for someone else. Larry was notable for throwing those long passes, making those good reads to get you an easy bucket. And RJ Barrett, especially the last few games, has done a really good job at just, from the eye test, it feels like, oh, Minnesota's going on a run. And then Barrett just makes a gorgeous play. Whether it's tonight he was scoring, other nights it's been, just a really nice drive, paint, touch, and pass, kick out to the other side of the floor, get you a good shot. I mean, RJ Barrett's been doing those winning star level things for the Toronto Raptors right now, and that is huge. A massive positive sign for this team going forward. The one thing I did notice in this game, which obviously is going to be expected because of how good Scottie Barnes is as a basketball player, especially the ball in his hands. It's a bit rusty tonight, but the one thing is obviously the ball in RJ Barrett's hands has been so effective. His facilitating has just been on another level as of late, and it felt like there were stretches where RJ wasn't getting iced out of the offense. He's actually doing a good job playing off the ball, cutting well and doing different types of things. But I think RJ's better utilized with the ball in his hands a little bit more. Just a few more opportunities for RJ Barrett. Because again, he was so efficient tonight. He was doing his thing out there on the court and only took 14 shots, right? And that's something, it's still a lead on this Toronto Raptors team. But you let RJ Barrett sort of cook up a little bit more. I think, it's going to be positive out there for your team. But that's not to say the ball should be out of Scottie Barnes' hands, but Let's give RJ his touches. Let's let him run the offense and do different things there now at this point as well. So, RJ, Scottie, loving that sort of duo, loving that sort of tandem. Gradey Dick's been solid out there, 9 points. He's bringing the hustle. He's doing the little things out there in the court, which is making a positive. In the starting lineup, Jakob Poeltl, solid game from him tonight as well. Had 4 fouls, but 15 points, 12 rebounds, and just continuing his ascent out there in this team. And that's one of the points I want to bring up with RJ Barrett as well. His chemistry, what he's been building up with Jakob Poeltl has really been something to watch, something to witness. And the reason, Jakob Poeltl's been on such another level as of late is because RJ's had the ball in his hands and they're running that pick and roll. He's finding them a ton of times. So, that's one of the other benefits of RJ Barrett there. They just have such great chemistry with Jakob Poeltl. So that's one thing to factor in. Ochai Agbaji tonight, you look at the box score and you're like, hey, that's a brutal Ochai Agbaji game. What are you talking about? But he did a really good job, on to Anthony Edwards this entire game. 9-20 shooting for Ant, and a lot of those came for later stretches. Nothing really felt easy for Anthony Edwards at any point during this game. So, Ochai Agbaji, I want to give some credit there. But off the bench, there were some very, very massive positives in this one. And the biggest one definitely was Chris Boucher, 22 points, some electric shots, just bringing the energy. And I've said this consistently with Chris Boucher. It's like you're getting kind of maybe not a stinker, but just a completely game where you don't notice Chris Boucher, or you're getting, wow, that guy is just a monster out there. It feels like it's one or the other with Chris Boucher on any given night. And tonight we got one of those games where Chris Boucher was just absolutely on another level. So, shout out to Chris Boucher doing his thing out there. I thought Jamison Battle had, only played 7 minutes, had a plus 13 in this game. And I thought just was really impactful, knocked down his 3-point shot, but I was just really satisfied with the Jamison Battle minutes in this one. So continues to be looking like a steal for the Toronto Raptors out there as a rookie. Mobo, it feels like Shead and Mobo have, I want to say rookie wall, but kind of want to say rookie wall in terms of other teams have figured them out a little bit. That's what happens with rookies. Again, there's not crazy expectations for second round picks coming in right away, but tonight was the best game for Mobo since it feels like he's been on other teams' scouting reports, since he's been in the mix for other squads, and 6.7 rebounds, couple nice dunks, did his thing out there on the court. And again, he was great. Davion Mitchell, right? The stats are jumping all over the place. Another guy you might look at the box score and be like, hey, 3 points and 3 turnovers. What are we doing here with Davion Mitchell, right? 8 assists. But he played 27 minutes in this one, had the highest plus minus in this game for a reason. And they call him off night for a reason, because Davion Mitchell just absolutely got into whoever the heck he was guarding, whether it was Ant, whether it was really anyone out there on the Minnesota Timberwolves. No one got anything easy when they were going faced off against with Davion Mitchell. And frankly, it's his defensive impact, his defensive instincts are such a positive to have. And he's been an amazing facilitator, right? It'd be nice for him to knock down a couple more shots. He had one open 3 that really would have been a dagger. The Raptors still end up winning the game, but a shot that really would have been nice to hit for Davion Mitchell, but didn't go down, obviously. But again, the defense and the facilitating has just been a really nice positive, nice addition for the Raptors. And, for him coming off the bench, especially just being an impact player, that's been really nice. And he's super young still too, right? Like, this is another guy was in Scottie Barnes' draft class that really has room to develop and grow and do different stuff out there. So very much a well-rounded game for this team. Now, I know there's going to be a few people that are frustrated because, again, capturing the flag, what's going on? Why are we beating amazing teams? The T-Wolves have amazing talent, haven't been an amazing team so far this season, but have been good. But the Raptors right now, and this is the reality I want to say, right? Because the Raptors are sneaky good. I don't know what's going to happen with this team in regards to, record-wise and stuff to end off the season. But currently, we're, 2.5 games back of the Bulls, 2.5 games back of that sort of jam-packed middle, right? The Sixers are a team that I think it's going to be, winning some games at some point, but who really knows? It's a complete mess there in Philadelphia. Made a video on Courtside Digest, if you want to check that out, where I broke down the Philadelphia 76ers. But the Toronto Raptors, right? And this isn't updated, actually. They didn't include the recent win. The Tankathon had it updated. The Raptors sort of odds right now, fifth worst and stuff like that. But here's what I want to say. This is what I want to say about all this. The Raptors have to figure out their team right now. And we've had such a bloodbath to start off this season. It's a tough mess to really figure out what level the Toronto Raptors are playing at here now at this point. And every win we can get is a huge boost in terms of development, confidence for this young group, for this young team. And everyone wants to, have the worst record so you get a big chance at Cooper Flagg, at Ace Bailey, at all these types of dudes. But honestly, like the odds and percentages, yes, they're more beneficial to be in the top 4 and stuff, but the difference between 14% and 11.5% is not that significant. Like, it's not that much of a giant sort of jump difference in terms of percentages, and not worth just completely sacking morale, completely just ruining teams, especially in November, right? To really be making that push for the bottom, because the team is still young, and no one wants to admit that this team is sneaky good, but we still have a long ways to go to be fully good, to be a fully competitive team out there in the Eastern Conference, out there in this squad, even though we have a ton of talent, but it's still very young. So I have no worries. I'm not stressing about wins in November. I'm hyped. I am amped up for W's out here. Now, like, if it's April and we're, chasing the Portland Trailblazers in terms of worst record in the NBA, or, third worst, so we can boost those odds, then maybe I'll be a little bit frustrated if we win a couple of those games. But games in November, when we're still feeling out the squad, we're still trying to put things together, still trying to build as a team, like, let's not be sad about W's out here in November, folks. I'm feeling good. I want to be hyped up. I want to cheer for the squad. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. You guys are the best to make it this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.